Good morning and welcome to today's almost daily devotional. Today we're going to continue with Revelation chapter 21 and the first verse, and it goes like this. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the former heaven and the former earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. I heard a loud voice from the throne say, "Look, God's dwelling is here with humankind. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eye, and death will be no more. There will be no mourning, crying, or pain anymore, for the former things have passed away." Then the one seated on the throne said, "Look, I am making all things new." He also said, "Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true." So Revelation is a complicated book, and it's a complicated idea because it's become very controversial. In the Greek Orthodox Church, for example, they don't read Revelation. It's seen as too sacred, too holy, too unknowable to be read. But other denominations, other people, other Christians have struggled with, what does this mean? What does all this prophecy mean? Is it a prophecy? Is it a vision? Is it a metaphor? What is it? And there is a strain in Christian thought that is called apocalyptic dispensationalism. And this is the idea that the earth will continually get worse, that things will just continue to get worse until God comes again. And so they try to hasten that. They try to encourage God to come back. And this can lead to some interesting ways of interacting with the world if you believe this. Because if the world's getting worse, then you don't need to do anything to try to make it better or do anything to try to improve the situation. You don't listen about dire warnings about the earth. You just interpret anything that's negative as a proof, as a sign that the apocalypse is coming, and that Jesus is returning. Now, Presbyterians and Reformed theologians have always said that this is not the evidence of the Bible, that the Bible says that God continually offers hope. God continually offers possibility, that the world doesn't have to keep getting worse. The world has ebbs and flows and ups and downs over time. And our jobs as Christians is to help each other make it through those ups and downs and those ebbs and flows. And so ultimately, the promise that we receive in Revelation is that God is making all things new. God is making all things new. The earth, us, our relationships, the things that we hold dear. And so good and bad are part of life. They're part of the cycle of life. And we shouldn't be reading into the bad things that happen, a sign that God is coming or that God is you enjoying it in any way. And so that is a particular challenge for us. And that is, what do we do? How are we helping in the midst of the good and the bad? Both are part of life. Both are part of living on this earth. Both are part of walking in the footsteps of Jesus. We're going to see good and we're going to see bad. And both are part of the creation. And so what do we do? How do we help? How do we extend God's hands and feet out to those who are suffering more when things are bad than we are? And so we don't look towards the apocalypse as the time when all things were made right, but we take responsibility and we understand our role is to try to make things right now, try to make things better for our fellow people right now. So how are you doing that today? How are you offering God's hope to another person?